What's going on YouTube? So today Vagabond Builds coming at you with a 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands package, and we're going to be doing a review about the exterior, interior, and some specs on this exact package. But before we start, please give us a subscribe and like, and a special shout out to Future Ford here at the Roseville Auto Mall in Roseville, California in the greater Sacramento area. Let's go ahead and start. So starting off on this front end, on this beautiful cyber orange exterior color Bronco, what do we see? We do see that you have the nice LED headlight, kind of the round circular shape with this nice marker coming in, LED. Something I like about these Broncos is that these LED bars kind of come in with the Bronco stamp on the front side of this grille. Now you're going to be seeing on these grills different shapes depending on the package of the Bronco. Coming over to the bumper, you do have this nice steel on this Badlands package. It's a steel bumper with the tow hooks integrated. You do have your standard bumper sensors going across with your front camera here integrated between the O and the N. Now this package does have 360 camera around the whole car. You do have the nice markers here on the side, and some people want to know what these are for. These exact hooks, or this rectangular kind of window inside these integrated hooks. So these are kind of what you would hook on a wire strap here, and you would connect it to these top racks on top of the car. And this is, let's say you're going through a forest or something, it's kind of to shove out those branches out of your way. Coming over to the side, starting off with this 17-inch aluminum black rim. You also do have the gray beadlock around the rim, giving it a nice two-piece look. You do have this nice black rugged fender flare. I'm a fan of this, kind of giving it more of that rugged off-road look on this Bronco. On the back side of this fender, you do have the Badlands stamp here. Now this is a stamp kind of letting you know which exact package or option you have. Side mirror to match that fender flare, and you have kind of that rugged off-road look here too with the integrated marker on this side mirror. Now something I really love about the Broncos is that the side mirror is integrated to the car. So how awesome is that? So when you go take off the door, you don't lose your side mirror and you can constantly see behind you while you're driving. You do have a nice little upgrade here with the spotlights and your integrated cameras up top on that windshield. So it's pretty cool. Coming over to the side door. Now remember, this is a two-door and not a four-door. You will see those differences. You do have a shorter wheelbase, the wheelbase from this wheel over to this wheel. So if you're looking to going off-roading, that is a plus on the shorter wheelbase. Another thing I'm a huge fan of is the no trim on the door. I like that full, straight to the point panel. Very nice cuts in the door, and a very nice handle to match the rest of the trim, giving you that off-road kind of rugged look again. Coming over to the back, very nice big gas lid. Now something that's pretty cool about these Broncos is if I pop this gas lid by the push, come over, and as you're pumping gas, you see the vintage of the Broncos, or the history of the Broncos, and you'll see the different three Broncos that they had. So that's pretty cool. That's kind of a neat little knick-knack that Ford had put on this Bronco. Continuing with the rear end of this Ford Bronco, starting off with this taillight, full LED with some black gloss paint trim around this taillight, and a little bit of character on this taillight, or inside this taillight. Nice vertical rectangular look. And over to the handle, one thing that Ford Bronco seems like they did was take that handle on the side door and kind of just turn it over and slap it on the tailgate. Pretty cool look. You do have your Ford stamp here along with your Bronco stamp on the passenger side of that tailgate. Plastic cover on top of this steel bumper. It is still with your standard integrated bumper sensors going across. You do have one light for that license plate with your hook integrated onto the frame when you're ready to pull something. Get over to this spare tire. It is centered on this back end, but remember, take into consideration that your backup camera or your back camera on this car does come outside of the center tire. So if you're looking into maybe getting a cover or something, take that into consideration on this camera. You do have your brake light on this, and then you have your two-piece glass with your tailgate, and that is going to push us inside of the trunk on this car. Let's open up. So you could open up this tailgate at different angles, halfway, or you could fully open up this tailgate. Now, one thing that you will notice that if you do open this tailgate at only halfway, you're going to have a hard time opening this window up top because it's going to be hitting that tailgate here on this back corner. Let's open it fully. And then now you could fully lift this back glass up just like that. Have a nice kind of short little trunk. I don't believe that you're going to be, you know, doing your whole grocery list shopping with this car. By the lift of this belt here, you do have a little bit of personal space, personal cubby with your tire jack and all that good stuff. Have some hooks here if you want to tie down certain things. And something that's pretty cool on this Bronco is if you come over to this lighting here, you have this little integrated Bronco here in this lighting. You're going to be seeing that around the car on the interior. We're going to be seeing that little Bronco just kind of stamped on all your buttons on the inside. You do have a 12-volt outlet, your back speakers here and here, so you're kind of getting that full experience on those back seats. And by the pulling of this belt here, you're going to have the automatic come down of that headrest, and then you can push this forward. So that's pretty convenient on the back side, so you get more room if, you know, you're riding 1 or 2 passengers or 3 passengers. You can throw one of those seats down. Let's pull that back up just like that, and you would just happen just to click that back up. So that's pretty much with the trunk space. Let's close that, and we're going to close this tailgate. All right, so now that we're pretty much done with the exterior of the car, let's head over to the interior. A little bit about this top. You're going to be seeing some different options on this top. This is the hard top 3-piece. You kind of get more of a T-top on this exact Bronco, where you can kind of slide out just this square. For the sake of the time of the video, we're not going to be doing it, but you can pull this piece off just so the driver can get that sun going, or you can just pull that passenger piece off, and what you would do is just kind of undo the clamps on the inside, and it just kind of slides under these rails, so these rails don't get in the way. Now if you go to take off the back one, you're going to be having a little bit harder time to take off that due to the rails. You will see a soft top in this, which, yes, the soft top is a little bit easier to take off, but you're going to be getting a little bit more road noise than the hard tops. These hard tops do come with sound dampeners inside. What they do is kind of put a liner of carpet on the inside of these hard tops, cutting back from all the road noise. Okay, so let's head over to the interior. So now that we're on the interior part of this car, what do we see first? Is this nice cyber orange that they integrated on this door. You do have a nice kind of light gray look, very sturdy. You can tell that this door panel is very sturdy, so you're not going to be worrying about breaking things when you're off-road or camping with these things. Very minimalist door panel. What do I mean by that is because they move their electrical all over to their side panel. Other than the lock and unlock button, you have your window controls here on the side panel along with your side mirror controls on the side panel. So that's pretty cool, making it an easier release when you're taking this door if you want to go doorless on this car when you're maybe riding in the summer or it's a beautiful day outside. Talking about that is they did a quick release plug here on the interior part of this door, and they kind of give you a lift handle here, so you kind of see that lift word, and you lift by that handle as you're supporting here on the left or the right, depending which door you're taking off. Also take into consideration that you have no rail on this window. I don't know how I feel about that. To me, it really doesn't matter. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below. And you kind of have a handle here that has Bronco written on it with a little bit of cyber orange trim in it. And if you take a closer look, that those screws inside that handle also come with Bronco written on those screws. So A lot of character to this car, a lot of time I believe that Ford had put into these Broncos, just giving it a whole lot better experience on the buy and on the usage of this car. So let's use this handle, kind of slide in. You do have the leather black seats with the nice kind of cyber orange stitching to match the rest of the car. Very comfortable. One thing I do like about the Ford is that the Fords always make their seats very comfortable. You have your black leather stitch steering with your manual button controls. Now, you're going to be seeing this, take this into consideration that these buttons come with like rubber covers. So, you know, if there's dust or water or whatnot of that sort, these are pretty tough, long lasting. I can see that these buttons won't have any issues. They didn't leave any cracks in between the buttons, so mess can get in there, so you have a hard time cleaning that. You do have kind of nice matte silver trim piece around the steering wheel. Light gray on the dashboard with the black. You do have your USB-C and HDMI connection on that top part of that dashboard with kind of, I wouldn't say cubby space, but kind of like integrated little areas where you could put something without it sliding back and forth. Now, coming over to this control panel here, this is where you're going to find your front locker button, your rear locker button, traction control off, and your stabilizing bar disconnect by the push of a button. Super cool that some cars you have to get out and manually do it, but Ford put this on the Broncos where you just by the push of a button. That's super cool. Now, if you take a look, again, like I was saying on the backside or the rear end of this car, you have, look at that little car there. It is a little Ford Bronco with that center wheel. So that's pretty cool. Look at the character of that little picture. That's a huge fan of that. And you're going to be seeing that here also on the center console, where if you come over to this, what they call the GOAT knob, what GOAT stands, it's an acronym for goes over all terrains. And you're going to be seeing that little picture of that Ford Bronco on the center of this button. Now you're going to have your 2 high, your 4 high, your 4 low, and all that good stuff. By the turn of the knob, you can switch that. And another cool option that this Bronco has is a declining hill assist option, where by the push of that center button, it helps you decline a hill when you're off-roading and all that good sort. Huge infotainment system on this car. Now you do have the option to sync your phone and voice recognition on this car with full navigation. Let's go ahead and turn that on so you can check that out. Love how you get that full Bronco feel here, and you kind of get that picture. Super cool. Now again, you do have, like I was saying, your audio, your phone. You're going to be scrolling by a touch-sensitive infotainment center. This is your navigation. And on the right side of the screen, you do kind of have your information cards where you can switch by the push of the arrow, where as you're driving, you can see your mileage per gallon consumption and your mileage and mileage to empty and all that good stuff. So that's a pretty cool option to have on this car. Super, very cool option. I think Ford just kind of stepped up their game with this infotainment center. This kind of tells you off the road status and so much more. You're just going to have to kind of dink around and see the features of that infotainment center. Now, look at these vents. I love this rugged kind of off-road look on these vents here with a little bit of orange trim in that, matching everything else. Taking a look at this cluster, you do have a half manual cluster of the miles per hour. Along with the other half, you do have a full digital, which kind of stays the same, doesn't really change much. And you have your miles per hour, your digitalized fuel bar there. Let's press that OK button. OK, full accessory active. And it opens up to the RPM along with your other info card on the side. Now you can change that info card by an arrow, and that right card will change, and you can set it according to what you like. So that's pretty straight to the point. Now, you got to remember, you're not looking for luxury, you're looking for an off-road camp feel on this car. You do have the 7-speed manual. This does come in a 2.3 liter Eco Boost. So take that into consideration on the automatics. The motor's you can have different options, but the manuals come only in the 2.3s. Coming over, you do have a nice personal cubby here with the USB-C with HDMI plug-in, dual zone heating and cooling with heated seats and a heated steering wheel. And this is pretty cool only because you want to keep those manual buttons letting it, I wouldn't say letting you know, but you're getting straight to the point of it being just very basic. Now, what I mean by basic, not wrong, but I'm a huge fan of the simplicity of the car because you know you're not going to be having issues with certain things as you own this car. You have a wireless charging pad with beautiful in-depth deep cup holders, and by the push of a button, one thing this Badlands does have is a gun vault or a vault for something that you want to store personally. So that's a super cool feature that they put in other trucks. Love that part of Ford. And it can be locked just to pull the key out of your key fob. So that's pretty cool. Lockable glove compartment with a little personal cubby with Bronco stamped here. Another thing that I want you to pay attention to is that these rails here come with airbags. So increase in safety. Love that option to have. Remember that you will see different off-road cars won't have this option here. Nice, strong, plastic, sturdy sun visors. What are these buttons here? These aux 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, you're going to be seeing these on certain option Broncos. This exact option, that's why I love this option, is that when you're doing an, let's say an upgrade, you're putting maybe an LED bar or like those spotlights, you hook them up to these aux switches, and by the push of this switch, you can already turn on those lights. That's super cool. Instead of having to put, you know, maybe two little pins here on your dashboard, and you're gonna have to, you know, push those pins or, you know, glue those pins or maybe screw them on. Some people do. I'm a huge fan of these aux because you get up to 6 plugs when you can wire things up to this and turn them on just by the push of that aux switch. Super cool. Now we're gonna get onto the back end of this interior of this car. Take into consideration this seat is all manual, which again, like I said, this car is very off-roadish, aggressive, take me off-road attitude. By the lifting of this handle up here by the top of the shoulder, you're gonna pull the seat forward, and one thing, it is a nice kind of push assist on this seat, but also take into consideration is that this seat is not going to stay, so it kind of, you know, old throwback two-door coupe feel on these seats. Let's hop back here, check out the space. So I'm about 6 feet 2 inches. You do have enough legroom, especially if the person is driving tends to be a little bit shorter. You will have a whole lot more legroom with a little bit of personal cubby space and these interior kind of square pieces if you want to attach certain things on the back end of this seat. Ford gives you that option on the back end of these seats. Very comfortable seating. I'm a huge fan of that because a lot of times when you're sitting on the rear end of the interior, gosh, it is so uncomfortable. You do have a personal cup holder with your another USB HDMI plug-in outlet. Super great thing to have is that these Broncos have a whole lot of plugins, so you're not fighting over HDMI plugins or USB-C plugins or 12 outlets or your 110 plugs. You do have your rubberized mats on this Bronco, and that's pretty much it for the interior. Let's get over to the motor and specs about this exact car. All right, so a little bit of specs on this motor. Now again, like I was mentioning in the video, you do have the 2.3 liter EcoBoost turbocharged 4-cylinder motor with 330 horsepower, but you also do have the option on certain other Broncos on a 2.7 liter V6 twin turbocharged, but that one comes with the 10-speed automatic transmission. The only motor option that you do have is the 2.3 in the manual mode. Now, a little bit of the MPG is going to be 16 city, 18 highway with 17 combined. So guys, that is pretty much about it on this car. If you have any questions, concerns, please leave in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching our channel, Vagabond Builds, and please subscribe to our channel and like. Thank you so much, guys. Again, stay tuned. We got some pretty cool things coming.